This is James Basinger. I'm here at the International in Knoxville, Tennessee for the Visions Tour 2016. And we are talking with Kimberly Freeman and Junior Sewell of One Eyed Doll. Hey guys, thanks for coming. How are you this evening?
Howdy, we're good.
Good.
Yeah, getting ready to play a show. Gonna play a rock show. It's gonna be awesome.
You played here in Knoxville last year and now you're back. So I assume it was a good experience.
We love playing in Knoxville.
Yeah, Knoxville's actually one of our favorite places to play. We have a lot of young fans here. We get like people bring their whole families out and stuff. It's super cool.
This club here treats us really nice, so we
Great.
appreciate them.
Well, how excited are you for tonight's show?
Like that much.
Really excited. She put her arms out.
She's got her arms spread out really wide right now.
Infinitely. Yeah, this goes around the whole earth and then wraps back around to this finger.
The circumference of the earth.
That's how we are circumference of the earth excited here tonight.
That's awesome. I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but how do you manage with just, two people?
I'll let you do that.
Okay, I'll take this one on. Actually, being in a band is a lot like being married, right? You have to spend every second in these close quarters. You have business dealings. You have all of these, crazy things that are happening in life. And I'm a music producer, so I deal with a lot of bands that come in and record their albums. And you got 4 or 5 people. Imagine having a marriage with 4 or 5 people. It'd be impossible. It's so hard to keep a band together and make sure everyone is headed in the same direction, right? And everybody has the same goals and is pulling their weight. That's a lot of times one guy leaves the room and all the other 4 are talking about how that guy doesn't pull his weight. Well, as soon as the other one leaves and this one comes back, oh, he's the one that's not pulling his weight. So this one, there's not much too far you can run. I do production. I do a lot of the kind of businessy side. I handle all the money and stuff and deal with all the promoters and all of that stuff. Kimberly does. She kind of interfaces with the fans a lot. She does all of our graphic design. Writes the music. Obviously, the music's part of it is that's what we love to do. But all of this other stuff is we're just a 2-person business trying to keep everything together. So I think on that side of things, it's easier to be a 2-piece band. And then if you talk about just the music and how we pull it off live, if you think about a classic lineup, I like to say something like Pantera, right? I'm not comparing us to Pantera, but if you think about their lineup, they got the drums, which I handle. They got the guitar, which Kimberly handles. They got the voice, which Kimberly handles. And they have bass, which in a metal band, the bass and the guitar almost always do the exact same thing, and the guitar is almost always bassy and crunchy anyway. So, and the way she plays is more like a bass, like the way she writes her rhythm guitar parts. It's like just really low end. So, as long as you got a good sound guy, it's going to have a full sound that would be something along the lines of something like Pantera or a 4-piece band, because Kimberly does the part of 2 people at least, 3 people really. So,
well, I guess my next question will be. Have you ever thought of adding additional musicians, or are you happy the way things are?
Yeah, we're totally happy as a 2-piece. We do have, for example, on this tour, our stage manager has been coming up playing guitar, second guitar part. On the last tour, on our Halloween tour, we brought a keyboard player. We had our light guy come up and join on keyboard, and then our stage manager played guitar. And we actually had a few songs that were 4-piece.
Yeah, our minimal lineup really allows us to have fun with special guests and stuff because there's space for it.
Yeah.
Oh, great, yeah.
It's really fun. You never know what you're going to see at a show.
Right, yeah.
So on the last tour, actually the last 2 tours, John Moyer from Disturbed, he came up and played bass with us on the song. So, we have the space for people to jump up and do. And we never played any tracks or click track or any backing music or anything. It's just the 2 of us, and so we keep it real. And when you do it that way, you have you're open to be able to have other people come up and jump up and improvise the set and change things up. So.
That's great. How about I Set to Kill? How's it been touring with them?
Yeah, so I Set to Kill is super laid back, chill band. They were coming through with New Year's Day, and we stopped and we met them on that tour. We kind of got to know each other, and we decided to do a collaboration on the Depeche Mode song. And
I love I Said to Kill.
Yeah, and they've been really awesome to tour with. So
yeah, they're really they're real rock and roll, you know, like they're just.
What genre of rock and roll would you describe it? Ballroom rock, power rock, groove rock, glam rock.
I don't know the difference.
It's boogie woogie beach rock.
Boogie woogie,
There you
beach,
go.
jazz, you know,
It's hip hop, rock.
bubble billy. I don't know. It's just rock and roll, you know, like it's just straight up like a rock band, and I really like them, and I love Alexia's voice, and what I really love is that everybody in the band plays an instrument, you know. I love bands like that. I have so much respect because I know how hard that can be when you're also the lead singer and you're having to captivate a crowd, and you've got like you're hooked up to a thing, you know. It's a challenge, and I feel like they pull it off really, really well, and Alexia is just gorgeous as a front woman. Like, you know, I know that their band has gone through a lot of lineups, but I absolutely love the lineup right now. It's so good. I think this is the best they've ever been. So it's been really fun to be on tour. We're co-headlining. We're basically splitting a co-headlining set or a headlining set. So the sets are a little bit shorter than usual, but it's so worth it because we get to see those guys every night.
Well, Enjoy the Silence is a great song, but
Yeah.
besides being great, what made y'all want to cover that song?
That was actually their pick.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
we
they were
both-
the ones really inspired to do that, and we're like, yeah, we love that song too.
Yeah, we both kind of made, when we were trying to figure out a song to cover, we both made a list, you know, and then we just kind of passed the list around, and we were like, well, yeah, Enjoy the Silence, that'll work. That's a good one.
Are we going to hear that tonight, or is this something that's coming out in the
Yeah.
future?
Yeah,
The recording
it's
has been
finished.
released.
Yeah, the recording is finished, and we're hopefully going to put it out in the next couple of days. And the only way you get it is if you bought a ticket for the tour. That you get an advance download, and then on May 1st we're going to put it out for everyone. So
What studio did you record it at?
I produced it.
Yeah, Jason did it. And he's recorded all of our music.
Yeah.
Except
If
for
you
the
listen to
Sense of
Witches,
Rock.
you know that was that's our most recent album, and that's kind of back to our classic, just me and Kimberly in the studio geeking out.
Yeah.
Previous to that, we did a lot of recording with Sylvia Massey, who's she made the first couple of Tool albums, System of a Down, Johnny Cash, Prince,
But
Red Hot
she
Chili
and
Peppers.
Jason are very, they're really kind of kindred souls as far as producers go. And so the stuff that we did out there with her was very true to our sounds that we had been making all along. So
Yeah.
she just melted right into the family. Like
Yeah.
she and Jason hit it off.
I learned all kinds of stuff from working with her, you know. So, and I also, besides
they're both genius producers. Like
I just feel like, you know, before I had that experience with Sylvia Massey, I kind of had a lot of self-doubt, like, am I doing this right? I always just kind of dove in and did things my own way. I didn't know how the professionals did it, you know? And so,
Same.
we got to live at her studio for like 3 years on and off in between touring.
Yeah, we just became part of
Yeah.
the family out there, and like we just
And
that was
An
our
osmotic effect. You learn by osmosis.
oh, yeah, well, and what I learned was that we did do things a similar way. A lot of it, you know, because you read in these books about how you're supposed to treat your studio and how you can't even let a little squeak come in from, you know, whatever, and how everything has to be made out of these materials. She doesn't do things like that at all. She has a big, giant, open movie theater that she recorded in, and she has the speakers blasting in the same room that you're recording the lead vocal, like a few feet away. I'm like, what are you doing?
and all
Oh,
this
wow.
ambient sound
Yeah.
fuses into this really amazing magical thing that she does.
So what she does is
she works with her surroundings.
Yeah,
you know?
and she
so
just-
does Jason. They both do this.
Yeah, she just
So
breaks
cool.
the rules. I mean, she doesn't have these rules that all these other producers, you know, like
Yeah.
the engineering side of it, the engineering brain where it's all mathematical. She doesn't do any of that. And on top of that, she had every piece of gear you could ever imagine. And a lot of times when, if you're in a kind of a low budget situation, which I started out in, you have a lot of self-doubt, like your gear is going to be right, you know. But you go to a studio like that where you've got a compressor hand-built by George Martin for the Beatles. I mean, you've got every piece of classic gear you can think of. There's no self-doubt on your gear anymore. It's just you. If you can't make good music with that gear, then it's not the gear.
You're
I'll
in the
tell you
wrong
that.
business.
Yeah.
You should start probably selling vacuums if you can't do something cool there.
Would you say she engineers unencumbered?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, she just throws it all. I mean, she doesn't have any rules. She wants to explore new areas of sound.
How has that benefited you as a group?
Well, I think we only have a few songs out of it that we could show off, but our experience with her is what lives on in everything that we do. So
she kind of, and also while we were there, while we were just staying there, we do our work with her in the day, and then at night she gave us the go-ahead to just record this whole other album on our own in a church that she owned that we were staying in, and that's how Dirty happened. We did that after hours on our own.
Mm-hmm.
And
was it an expected project, or was it a spontaneous project?
Totally spontaneous.
Yeah.
It was a spontaneous. Church was a spontaneous project.
There was a church organ. She basically just gave us the keys and gave us access to all of her engineers and interns and said, like, we're a family now. Just do whatever you want and let me hear it. And so we did. We made Dirty that way, and it's just, I love that album.
I know touring can be really stressful on any musician. You all seem to have such incredible chemistry on stage. How do you keep that up for each and every show?
He just has a lot of patience.
Well, every show is different, but we're lucky to have really amazing fans that are just super into the music. They get the music. They're it's not a huge fan base, but it doesn't matter. Sometimes there's a lot of people, sometimes there's only a handful of people, but those people that are there are really into it, and you can really feed off of that. Like we're in the room with people that might have only get to see us once a year. So for us, we've played 200 times this year, but with that new person in the room, it's a new show.
Yeah, and it's also I feel like what's helped me not to burn out by now is that the fact that we've been able to have crew for the past several tours. We've been able to bring our friends out who help out so much. It's where I'm not loading the gear every night and doing merch, on top of her.
Yeah, I used to set up the stage, and she used to set up the merch.
Oh, wow.
And we'd go out, and then we're just like our muscles already hurt, and then we'd go out and play the show.
Yeah. It was just exhausting.
Yeah.
And then driving, both of us just
trading off.
driving, just the two of us.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
16-hour drives we have to make in one night.
When we did the Wayne Static tour.
Now we just live in this luxury of having this bus and a crew and a driver who's asleep out there right now, and it's just awesome. And like our merch girl Melinda has been with us for 7 tours.
Great.
Yeah, and we toured with Static X or Wayne Static from Static X, and these guys would go out every single night. They would drive 8 to 10 hours because they have their tour bus, they have a driver, they can do whatever they want, and we had to follow them along in our little Ford Econoline with me, her, both of us just.
And neither of us could sleep at all because the one person would be trying to keep the other one awake while they were driving.
Yeah.
So we didn't sleep at all.
The whole tour.
And we hardly ate, and it was just really hard. And we did a lot of touring like that for many years, and now we're just so grateful for everything that we have. Everything we have. It's the ability to have crew, and we got this bus, and life is really, it gets better every day.
A sweet publicist that sets up cool interviews with people like you.
Yeah.
Makes people like you want to talk to us.
Yeah.
This is a question for both of you. With the extensive library that One Eyed Doll has produced over the length of your career, what would you consider your opus? The one song that you would want someone who had never heard a One Eyed Doll performance, what would you consider your opus, your greatest song that you would want a new fan to hear?
That's a good question.
Very smart.
Their first song to hear.
She's gonna brush her teeth.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
think about this, huh?
Yeah, it would require a little thought.
Like, is it something that we would want someone to hear?
The
Like
first
what
song
they would expect live, or just as us as artists, as beings, or whatever?
the answer is yours.
You go.
All right. Well, I can tell you because it is the first song that she plays every night, and it's called "Committed." And she's been playing that song as our opener for 10 years now. So every single show. We start with an intro now, just because our latest album, Witches, has a really cool intro. Yeah, but once we kind of get through this, like, it's only about a minute and a half long, then we play, like, really the first song of the set is Committed, and it's always been Committed. And so I feel like that's the opus. That's the introduction
like
to the band.
our oldest song, literally. I think it was like my first like riffy rock song, and it's just so much fun to. It's so much fun to play every single night. I've played it thousands of times, and I just have so much fun every time.
But
so
you
that's a
do
good
understand
answer.
the question. What is the hello?
That's the
One-eyed doll
Yeah.
did want to someone who had never said hello.
That's the one, and it is every night. That's the one we choose.
So
Yeah.
you have answered this.
Yep.
Sure. As an
Committed.
as an artist, since he did it that way, that's like, this is like what we're gonna sound like, probably. It's like it's a basic like One-Eyed Doll sounding song. First thing that would pop into my head as far as like this is me as an artist, maybe Stillness from
Yeah.
Witches. Stillness.
No, one answer.
Well, I gave my answer,
Well,
and
does
she
it
gave
have to
hers.
be the same answer?
No.
Okay, I picked Stillness. You picked Committed.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I know you guys are very active with Facebook promotion of your
Yeah.
music and events. How much do you think social media has impacted your success?
Tons.
Yeah.
I feel like it's, we've done most of our careers, we've been an independent band for most of our career, and back in the day that it would have been impossible to build a fan base the way that we did. And so we're really grateful to the internet for giving us the ability to spread our music across the world without being on a major label. It's huge, huge.
Well, have you added any new material besides the Enjoy the Silence cover since the Witches album?
We've got a lot of new stuff. It's
Yeah.
not out yet, but yes.
Yeah, and the only other thing
really
that-
awesome
It's in the
new stuff.
works.
The
All
only
right.
other thing that we released after Witches, because we're actually on a 1-year exclusive with Standby Records,
Right, so we take
so we
the-
literally couldn't release anything other than Witches. But
We have so much ready to go.
Great.
but as soon as that expired, it was just a 1-year deal with them for that one album. So as soon as that expired, we put out on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. It was My Favorite Things from the Sound of Music. We did a little kind of Christmas version of that song, like a really mellow version.
That's
of that.
great.
And I actually am remixing it now, so
Oh, cool.
we might have a more upbeat version of that coming out soon. So.
Well, what's coming up next? I know y'all have this tour for the next couple of months, but what's going on with One-Eyed Doll after that?
Well, we don't have any official announcements to make, but we do try to go out for the Halloween season. I'm not going to say what we're doing exactly, but if you're out there and you want to catch us on our next tour, just keep an eye out on our various social media pages. And
We're trying to make Europe happen too.
yeah, we're trying to make Europe happen. We have some pretty solid stuff going on, and that might be late summer. So.
Roger, do you have anything else you want to add?
I have one question for Kimberly. Kimberly, with the personal demons you have faced, what would you say you give most to your fans through your music? And what would you say your fans give most back to you to help you with the personal demons you have faced yourself?
Oh. Well, when you're going through something tough, or when you've gone through something tough, I feel like the best thing for a person sometimes can be just sharing it with someone else, and that person understanding and accepting it.
How do you share?
My music, I tell my stories with my music. I get my feelings out that way, and it's really
What feelings
crazy to
do you
me that,
express?
well, a lot of my music has come from grief.
What kind of grief? What's the source of your grief?
Wow. People dying is a big inspiration for me. I've lost some people very close to me.
Which people?
Okay. My very first song was written about a friend of mine that I had when I was a teenager who died very tragically, very suddenly. And I had a bit of an emotional breakdown over it. I had things going on at home as well that all compiled into me just losing it. And so I ended up...
Do you find your music a cathartic process?
Yeah. I think anybody would tell you that. It's very...
a little bit of your heart is in every song.
A lot of it, yeah. A lot of
And
it.
I would say, a lot of the songs are, people say, oh, you have a lot of, funny songs or comedy kind of songs. I think almost every song has a deeper meaning underlying, even if it's got some jokes or it's tongue-in-cheek on the surface, there's still a message underneath.
Most of it is metaphor. And then a few of them are just like super real, literal. But yeah, I use a lot of metaphor in my writing, and usually people don't quite get it. But that's okay. They can take it however they want. But yeah, I mean, as far as what started me writing, my very first song was over a tragedy of someone that I lost.
How old were you when you wrote the song?
17.
17.
I think. And I was hospitalized over my breakdown, and I was locked up for a while. And
Is that when your music career started?
no, it was much later than that. But I wrote my first song in my head to myself in that hospital, and it just always stuck with me. It always stuck in my head. And then I always wrote poetry, but once in a while it came out in melodies, like a song, and I'd hear all these instruments, and I didn't even play any instruments, so but I just kept them to myself. They were secrets for a long time until I decided to start performing. But it was the only way that I could express myself for a very long time. And I feel like I'm a better rounded person because of it now. I feel so much better, because I'm able to do this all the time. It's something that I've learned to really enjoy and love and feel at home doing.
Well, that's what you give your fans and your listeners. What do your fans and listeners give to you? And you?
They give me understanding and me not feeling so alone in the world with some of my crazy ideas and the feelings that I've had. It gives me sort of a similar thing to what the music I listened to as a teenager gave to me. I was like, I'm not the only one who's ever felt this way, And it's funny because it's now flipped, and now I'm that for those people, but them feeling that way does the same thing for me. It's reciprocated.
An exchange of power.
Yeah, it really is. It is an exchange.
Yeah.
It's in so many words. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, and for me, I really love just geeking out in the studio, and I'm kind of react to something very simple that Kimberly will write, and then I like fleshing it out and trying to interpret what emotion she's going for and make that come out in the production. And so, I'm generally a pretty happy guy. I don't have a lot of tragedy in my life. So when I hear the stories that she has, I try to bring that out and amplify what she's doing with the music. And then when we play live, I still consider myself more of a producer than just the drummer in the band. I'm trying to make the stage and the lighting and the room and the people in the room and everybody else kind of form into that, what the song should be, what the music should be. So
would you say One Eyed Doll is best represented by the classic masks of comedy and tragedy? Because it being a two-piece band, you provide the comedy.
No, I think
the tragedy.
No, I don't think so. I think that the One Eyed Doll is basically the story of Kimberly's life, and I just try to amplify that. And it's all of her stories that she tells has something to do with her life, and she writes the music. So I just take the songs that she writes, and I do my best to try and present those to people that take my skills because I can play every instrument. So whatever it is that she needs for a song, I'll play, and I'll craft the song.
You are correct, though. I do feel like that's a really great way to describe the set. Not just comedy tragedy or comedy tragedy like that, but overall, like the music is very much that way. So I feel like that dynamic is very important in our thing. So in a way, I think you're right. It's just not represented by us as
well, not as
people,
individuals, but in the balance of the music, comedy and tragedy.
Definitely. Yeah. I feel like it is.
Well, guys, I think we're about out of time. So,
All right.
it's been really great talking to you.
Yeah,
I appreciate you spending time.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having to be all.
Oh, this is great. Yeah. Appreciate you talking with us.
Oh, absolutely. You guys are awesome.